And it's funny to finally open up, think you're opening up, and it's like the world's like, nope, I'm gonna punch you in the dick. You're like, thanks.
You're alone again. I shouldn't be thinking of you, thinking of me. I know.
Hello, people. This is Mike from dailyBred, and here's another edition of my Mike Goes to Therapy with nobody here. I just kind of thought of that as I was walking into my apartment because I just went out to get coffee, and I was thinking about I really need to record because last week I decided I wanted to make a year commitment. And so I was like, shit, I got to record this and I got to keep up with it because I want to have this come out once a week. And today's Tuesday, and I was thinking of should I keep them to Tuesday or Wednesday? I don't really have a set date to do this, or set day, because Fridays are my other podcast. This was the scene. If you're into the late 90s punk scene, then every Friday, or I try every Friday to launch that. I just launched my 100th episode there. So that one has more of a commitment. This was very loose. But again, from last week's episode, I've realized that I don't have anything I'm committed to these days. And I think this is like the one thing that's kind of started me going down this path of thinking about putting my skin in the game, I guess, because I just, it's like between my comic, which I do every day, and at least I'm committed to that. And that's something that makes me go, shit, I got to do something, or I got to just constantly be thinking of putting something out, even though it's not detrimental if I don't. But once you get into a rhythm, especially since it's been almost, I think, 3 years. I think it started 2017. I think, yes, started 2017. So it will be 3 years this November. And that's like the only thing I'm committed to. That, and then with my animation company, Drive80, DRIV80, that I've had for about almost 10 years. And that's commitment because that's like my main income is doing freelance animation. But other than that, like I don't really have like a structure. So I've been working for myself since 2006, but in that time I've freelanced on site at places so that it's like I'm working for myself. I don't have benefits and all that stuff, and I kind of made up my time, but for about 4 years I was working on site at a place which I loved. So technically it felt like I had a job, but it's still I could come and go whenever I wanted to. So yes, I've worked for myself for a very long time, and it's like I like the freedom, and it's funny because of all this thing with COVID that people are working from home and they're feeling like they have this new, I guess, freedom because they're working from home. But I've been doing it for so long, so this isn't new to me, and I know how to. If I really need to structure, like I know how to make tasks and keep myself moving along and hitting my goals for the day and just getting projects done. So it's like how to keep yourself organized without anyone else telling you. And that's hard. And also like I have to wear every hat. So I have to so if you think about if you work for a company, if right now you listening, you're working for a company, think about your position and then think of all the other departments around you. But you have to focus on what you do. That's your skill, that's your expertise. Now imagine if you had to do every single department all at the same time every single day. And then when you go home, you are constantly thinking about that every single department and growth and just the whole company on its own. And that's my life. And I think that it becomes very overwhelming. So kind of going back to, I was trying to think about what I want to talk about today. And there's been a couple things. I guess just really just keeping kind of with the theme of what I do is just very open. I'm sure there's like things that I won't share, but for the most part, I'd probably share about like 95% of like whatever's in my brain. And last night, yesterday was it was a long day, and I didn't want to fucking do anything, even though, and my workload is pretty light. Like this week, I didn't really book anything, but I have things on the horizon, so that's good. And I've been busy since March, which is really good because I've been not hugely busy with the animation stuff for the last couple of years, and that was draining. And I just have this soul searching thing going on. So yesterday, usually Mondays are a bit hard because Sunday I'll go out with my friends and we will definitely throw back for a while. And so Monday I feel like complete shit. And especially since I'm getting older, that it lasts, it sustains. And there's a piece of it, so physically I feel like crap. And if I eat like shit, I feel like crap. But luckily I didn't eat that bad on Sunday. And then just mentally, if I don't have something to do, I just feel drained. So I'm trying to make something to do, and that can be draining. So yesterday I got up and what did I do? I went and got coffee, and what I've noticed lately is I always get up and drive to get coffee because of this, because it was a lockdown, and I'm in North Carolina and we're in phase two where a lot of more things are open. But I'll I'll get up in the morning and just like before I start, I need some kind of way to rev up and just let my mind go. So I always will drive somewhere to get coffee, and it's either Lucky Tree in Raleigh, just throw that out there, or Brew, either at McNeil Point or in Gateway. And I used to go to Vidari a lot, but once they got rid of their internal crew, who I used to love talking to, I just kind of stopped going there. Even though they've the black and white has really good cold brew. So this is really relevant for people living in Raleigh. I'm just doing a complete shout out, so people will be like, "Oh, I should go there." But Lucky Tree has been my new favorite spot for just the employees that are fun. Anyway, I'll go do that, and then I noticed that in the last couple weeks when my workload started to lighten up, I would pick up the coffee and I would just drive. Now my favorite thing is I have a Jeep. And since I was a kid, I've always wanted to have a Jeep. And a couple years ago, I was like, I live in North Carolina. Why am I waiting until this one day where my vision was to own like a really awesome, like luxurious looking log cabin? And my vision was I would drive there on a Thursday or Friday to end the week, and I'd have a Jeep. So I'd drive my regular car, but then I'd jump in my Jeep and I would just be driving around the town wherever my log cabin was. That was my goal. A couple years ago, I was like, what the fuck, man? It's like hot as hell here, or it's warm here the majority of the time all year long. Why don't I just get a Jeep now? And as soon as I did that, I got it. I love this thing so much. So I got brand new tires. But when I go get coffee, I like driving around because I have a hard top and the front two panels. I take them off, and it's just so much fun. I literally love it so much. And I just will be because I'm like overthinking everything lately. I just will just drive, and it's when you don't have a boss, for some reason you still think you have a boss. It's like I constantly think that there's a department above me, or I have bosses that are thinking like you got to get this done, and I don't. And I've never been able to truly grasp that for the 14 years I've worked for myself. It's always felt like there's some invisible thing that is I have to um, hit goals for, but it's just me. And it's so weird, and I've never been able to shake this, which is maybe a good thing because it keeps my shit together. And but yesterday was just I just didn't want to do anything. I like went and got coffee. I just kept driving and driving, and then I got home and just went for a really long fucking walk because I was like, you know what, I don't want to fucking do anything. And luckily I can do that because I don't have a boss. So it's weird this balance where I always think that I there's some invisible force that is like I'm disappointing, but at the same time I'm like, oh, there isn't, and I could just go for a walk and I'll listen to a podcast. So it's like I'm trying to decompress. And so yesterday I just did that, and then at the end of the day, I just went home and I was like cooking dinner, and I sat down, and it kind of just popped in my head. This is like a very long way, a long. This is a 8 minute or so, 9 minute way to get to this point, but kind of just popped in my head. I was like, what am I missing? Like, what is it that I am not, that I feel is not there, and I don't feel fulfilled? And I was just like, this thing is just like, it popped in my head. I was like, I think I'm just lonely. And it's weird because of being divorced now for 6 years. I have a really hard, like going through that in pure pain for 2.5 years of just complete depression. There's a fear of letting someone in, and giving away all that power or love or energy to someone where you make them your purpose for living. And it scares me because I don't let people in because they can always cut the cord, and then I feel like I'd go through the same thing again. And that was probably like the worst pain I've ever felt in my life for a very extended amount of time. And but at the same time, I had started talking to someone recently where I go through spurts where I'll do business coaches, and then lately it's been like life coaches. And I went to see a therapist a couple times last year, but he sucked. This guy was just too busy looking at the clock, and I literally I was like, this is what I want to talk about, and he like completely brushed over it and went in this different direction. I was like, I just gave you exactly what it is that I know I need to address, and you just fucking dismissed it. So no, I'm not going to be paying you $135 an hour for your stupid fucking bullshit crap advice. So get fucked. Apparently, I have strong emotions about that. But I just want to be able to talk to somebody because I think talking to someone directly and hearing their advice or their questions can help you get through stuff. So I started working with someone recently, and they're not a therapist, they're not a uh, certified therapist, but they have spent a long time with their life trying to figure out their shit, and so it started off as like kind of like a business coaching thing, but it turned more into I think we need to kind of just talk about life. And he said something just made me think, and that's kind of goes to the lonely thing. He was like, I think that you really want to meet somebody and you're not letting yourself let go. And I think you're holding yourself back from actually having a very full life. And it really hit. I was like, yeah, man. But I said, but the thing is that that's like I don't know what the right answer is. Like I don't know what created everything. Like when I was younger, I was Catholic because my parents just put me in church or Catholic church. And that's how I grew up. And as soon as I had a license, I didn't have to go. I was like, yeah, fuck this. This shit is boring. The people that run it are weird. And I just cannot connect. And every time I went to church, I was like, this weirds me out. But I believed in God for a really long time. And then I kind of stepped back and I don't know what I believe. Like I know something's there, but I don't know what it is. And sometimes when I'm like freaked out about something, it's like I'll pray but I'm not constant with it because it is just a leap of faith. Because it's like between now and you die, you don't really know what's going to happen. There's nothing that's come to me and said, okay, this is exactly how it is. And that's just how life is, which is a total gamble, but it should make you probably live more because this could be it. But that's a whole other conversation. And we were talking about that. I said, well, I appreciate that you said that, but whose rules are it that I have to have a life with someone? Like, maybe I can just live till now, and I'm 150 years old, and that's it. But I think I listened to myself for a minute. I was like, yeah, I think I do want to have someone in my life. But then as soon as I think that, I think of, yeah, but then they bring their shit to the table, and I don't want to deal with that. And like, I don't know if I want to have kids because every time I see a family with kids, it stresses me out that I'd have that much responsibility. But there's also a way different connection you have when you do have a kid because they're yours and there's a whole world that I can't even possibly see. And so I was like, all right, well, yeah, maybe I am alone. And I thought about that last night and I was like, man, yeah, I am maybe I don't go do a lot of things on my own because I do want someone there. And I have great friends and we all hang out, but there's a difference between friends and someone that you're in love with and someone that's your partner. And I was watching Billions. And even though the main guy who plays Axelrod and his wife, who's so hot, she's so insanely hot. Um, that's besides the point. They kind of just have this relationship where they're there for each other, and it could be going wrong, or it's like they're in love, or they're just he had someone to just explain what he was going through to her, and I thought, man, I do miss that. Like I loved being married and we were together for almost 6 years, and I just felt like I had that person. And then to have that, to feel that strong and have that go away really fucked with me. And I'm like, do I want to do that again? But maybe I do want someone around. And maybe I do want to wake up and someone's there. Maybe I do want to be coming home and someone's here and we're doing cool things for each other or we're there to talk to each other. Like that to me sounds great. And if I know that they'll never leave and we always have that, then that to me is like I would absolutely do that. But just that fear of that going away is too much. But I'm seeing it. I think the door's opening just a bit to potentially have that. And it's funny too because I was talking to someone recently who I was like, oh, I'm kind of interested in this person, and it was the first time I'd felt like someone had my attention, like someone had a where I was like I enjoyed hanging out with you and I enjoyed talking to you. Um, but that seems to be kind of put on the back burner for whatever reason. I mean, I think I was down for it, but it seems like that's not going to happen. And it's funny to finally open up, think you're opening up, and it's like the world's like, nope, I'm gonna punch you in the dick. You're like, thanks, world, thanks for reminding me of all the things that I fear. Like, it's like you, I don't know. It's like if you were, it's like if you were like severely overweight and you decided you woke up on a whatever day of the week and you're like today is the day I'm gonna fucking do it and you go out and you go and buy equipment, you like start researching how you're gonna eat well, and then all of a sudden it's like you'll break your leg or something, or I don't know, like it's just something will just throw you off the rails and you're like I want I it took me so long to want to fix myself, and then something happens, it's like, no, get fucked. And so either do you see it as, no, okay, was that just another barrier to test if I really want it? Or is that just the world going like, no, you're not allowed to, you're not allowed anything. You're not allowed, and I don't believe that. I'm just being a smartass. But yeah, I think it just was very aware to me, or very clear to me that the whole lonely thing, it's like, okay, well, if that's the case, and I did realize recently that there was someone that I was interested in, so that door did open. So obviously there's something there, and I am a fan of the universe and law of attraction. So maybe that means like something's beelining its way towards me to be like, okay, now you're ready. Like here's this life that you have been pushing away, and it's not going to interfere with what you're doing. It's just going to make that better, and it's going to make all the aspects better. Yeah, man, I'm down with, like, why wouldn't I be down with that? I'm just super afraid that I don't know if I can handle that shit again. But then maybe my perspective of it needs to be I can allow things and go in my life, but I shouldn't put so much weight that if it goes away, then it's detrimental and it's going to crush me. And that's something I've struggled with. I think I've mentioned that in a couple other episodes. Like, I said it before, I think true love really is, if you really do care for someone and they leave you, then you should be okay with that because you really do care for them so selflessly that you just want the best for them. And that's a really hard fucking pill to swallow because then your ego comes in. It's like, well, no, you're mine. You're mine. This is what my happiness is. But I think like I've found that the happy things that the happiest I am is when I'm doing something for someone else selflessly, where it's not like I'm trying to get something in return. It just pops in my brain and I want to do something for them to help them without any, okay, well, I did this, like I want praise, or I also want a gift as well, or whatever it is. I just want to be, you know, I want the best for you. And that's definitely something I've thought about a lot. And I think I will leave this episode this episode of my life, this recording, this consistent diary that I'm trying to make consistent. I think I'll leave it on that note. Yeah, so I guess uh, go check out my daily comic. It's on Instagram. It's Your Daily Bread is the handle, but Daily Bread's the name of the comic, BRED. And I have a website. I have stuff for sale. If you want to get hand-drawn prints, I do those. I'm trying to figure out if I should charge like 10 or 20 bucks for those. For my art, I hope one day that I'll be like, these are $200 because there's such a demand and people really like it. And that is all. I don't know if you ever have any questions. Email me at Mike at yourdailybread.com. I do have an email. Or you can message me on Instagram. I do like talking to people. Or if not, actually, and yeah, it's weird to end with this because the whole thing is just this open, real, transparent conversation. But I guess I have to be like, subscribe if you like this, share it with someone you think this could help them. Maybe they have thoughts like this and they don't know how to express it, and hearing someone else helps them get through it. Uh, and you can write some ratings. It just sounds so empty. So if you want to do that, cool. If not, then I think I want this thing to feel as genuine as possible and not be commercial, even though there's commercial things in it. All right, whatever. This is Mike signing off. Go love yourself. Or go. Wait, no, how can I do this? Go selflessly love someone. Do something selfless for someone. That'd be nice.